Polish publisher Fat Dog Games may have landed itself in the doghouse. Ooh yeah, look at that joke. I'm on a roll already. Almost a week ago, I was contacted by a source whom wishes to remain anonymous, asking me to look into some recent claims and allegations labeled at Fat Dog Games over the past couple months. These claims included missing or late payments to contracted workers and developers, lack of marketing for games Fat Dog Games have publishing rights to, and general mismanagement in the company. After receiving the tip, I took a look into the company in an attempt to confirm any of these allegations. Over the course of the week, I've been able to conduct an investigation with nearly a dozen reliable sources on the matter regarding various events that have happened within Fat Dog Games in the past few years. I've also been in contact with Fat Dog Games CEO Alexander Sierzega, I don't know, sorry dude, about the matters which I will provide as we go. So the first issue I tackled was the claims that people had not been paid or were receiving late payments despite the contracts they signed with Fat Dog Games. Over on the publisher's Facebook page, there are several reviews from people who claim to have worked with the company in the past. There are more than a few similarities throughout each of the reviews, with many being spaced months apart by clearly active accounts. The majority of these reviews claim that payments were either not sent or late by a period of up to 3 months. Some also stated there was difficulty getting in contact with the publisher at various points. So after seeing this, I sent out some messages to the reviewers and received word back from several of them. As per their request, I'm going to keep these sources anonymous and simply explain the information given to me. I will provide screen caps and excerpts of any of the quotes I can, as long as they don't reveal any personal information. One source who claims to have worked for the company as a programmer told me that they and others will wait extended periods to receive replies to emails, and that they needed to beg for their payments when they were late. These payments, according to them, could be late by 2 to 3 months. They also stated that Fat Dog Games managed at least one game on Steam that received poor sales due to what the source attributes to lack of marketing by the publisher. Another source I was in contact with claims to have worked for the company for about a year, stated their salary could be late by up to 20 days. They also exclaimed there were issues with social security and healthcare dues, which caused them to not be able to see a doctor when they needed to. They described dealing with the management as absolutely schizophrenic stuff, and explained they would often get random answers that were changing throughout the day. Another source talked at length that the company was near to shutting down before finding an investor. They then began purchasing various indie games in development and offering to market them for the developers. According to them, this led to almost no substantial marketing, translating to sales, which led to late or missing payments. As I talked with each person, they would provide me with more stories and contacts, all of which sharing very similar stories regarding Fat Dog Games. Eventually, I was contacted by current CEO of Fat Dog Games, Alexander Sierzega. Again, I don't know, dude. He received word from the depths of Facebook that I'm preparing to make a clip, which I assume he means video, on the game Indigo. He said if I wanted to look at it from his side to drop him a line. So I dropped him a line. I had no idea what Indigo was, but heck, the CEO of the company wanted to talk to me about it, so sure, why not? After I received the email, I started looking into Indigo, which turns out to be a game by developer Pigmentum, which up until recently was available on the Steam store and published by Fat Dog Games. The publishing agreement came to an end in early 2019, according to Fat Dog Games CEO. He stated the following: "The agreement fell apart because we forgot to send them documentation in time, and it was possible to address it as negligence from our side. As for the Steam page, we were exchanging emails about it, then official legal statements, and then this happened. We cannot sell it, and it's dangerous to just erase the store page, so the page is hidden." About a day or so after I was contacted, some articles started popping up about Indigo on a few Polish gaming websites. The articles stated that Pigmentum is no longer working with Fat Dog Games, but that the publisher will no longer allow Pigmentum to sell the game on Steam, possibly holding the rights hostage. It seems there may now be legal talks between the developer and publisher, so Pigmentum can possibly get the rights back in order to start selling the game on Steam again. Fat Dog Games would then go on to issue a response to the article. In the response, they stated the contract was terminated by the developer and wasn't a mutual agreement. According to Fat Dog Games, this left them without a game to sell, along with the bills incurred from publishing and marketing the game up until that point. And then another article on VG24.pl included a statement from Pigmentum made on the Facebook group Indie Game Developers Poland. One of the developers, Christian Mucha? Sorry, man, I don't know, stated they tried to regain control over the rights to the game, which he believes belongs to to the developer. Christian said that despite lawyers getting involved, the game could not be sold on Steam, and they felt the platform didn't care about indie developers. So from what I can tell, Valve won't allow Pigmentum to sell the game on their platform unless it's listed under Fat Dog Games. In the meantime, Pigmentum has begun selling the game on itch.io, along with rumblings of possibly bringing the game over to GOG or other platforms. Alexander responded to this article claiming it was one-sided. He went on to explain that legal complications are causing the issue, despite the rights being successfully transferred. Fat Dog Games' official Facebook account then started responding to the negative reviews left by supposed ex-contracted workers. In the replies, they stated one of the reviews was slander and a fake account. On another review, they requested the writer contact them to clear up any issues, which the reviewer responded to by claiming they had before but never received any reply. While this was happening, I had more and more sources coming forward, each citing very similar stories to what I had heard from others, as well as the reviews on Facebook. One of the news sources told me they were owed money on their contract in the tens of thousands of dollars. They wanted the exact amount obscured for privacy. In total, I've contacted or been contacted by nearly a dozen sources, each with their own similar stories of dealing with the publisher. As if this couldn't get any weirder, two names kept popping up while I talked to various people. Lucas and Darius Skripkowski? Sorry guys, I'm trying my hardest here. Are two brothers that up until a few months ago were both in prominent positions at Fat Dog Games. In fact, Darius was the CEO of Fat Dog Games before Alexander took over, and Lucas was listed as the COO. Both left Fat Dog Games in November to start a new company called Bearded Brothers Games. The reason for this is unclear, and Alexander couldn't give a public reason when I asked him. Several people have told me that one of the main reasons issues seem to be so prevalent at Fat Dog Games is due to mismanagement from the leadership end. Many, if not most of the issues, seem to have occurred during the time when the brothers were with the company. One source felt it was almost like they went searching for investors to fund their company, then just sit around until the investor comes back looking for their return. It was implied that this may be the reason they left Fat Dog Games to form another company and start the process all over again. Currently, Bearded Brothers Games has a crowdfunding campaign running for investors that has raised over $22,000 when converted. The minimum stake to take part is roughly $185. Investors can earn a share in capital and company shares. This is most likely very similar to how Fat Dog Games was originally set up. Currently, Bearded Brothers Games has two projects being developed, one of which, Biker Garage, is very similar to a Fat Dog Games production, Motorbike Garage Mechanic Simulator. We have a mouthful for a game title, that one. While the brothers are off on a new adventure, it seems Alexander was left to pick up the pieces, which might explain why much of this info is suddenly coming to light. If Lucas and Darius left Fat Dog Games when severe issues started appearing, we may be seeing the fallout of failed business practices. It's been almost a week, and I'm still getting extra information from a variety of people, including new sources that seem to be coming forward every single day. Alexander finally got back to me after 4 days of waiting, but seemed to avoid answering more questions, citing a language barrier, which didn't seem to be an issue before. He also claimed he was looking into allegations of workers not being paid, but it's not easy because he manages a company of over 20 people. What? You're the CEO, mate! What do you mean you don't know if people are getting paid? In any case, there's still more information coming forth regarding the publisher. Nearly all the people I've spoken to have very similar stories regarding the treatment of staff and developers. I've also been able to verify that at least half of these sources did in fact work with Fat Dog Games at a certain point. And there are more than a few other allegations that I'm currently looking into, some of which I'm not able to speak about. And I want to remind people that these are currently just allegations and claims. I'm just repeating the information that was provided to me by what I deem as credible sources. I've done my very best to talk to both sides of the story and get as much information as I can from every different avenue. That being said, there's always more stuff to talk about, so if anyone has a history with Fat Dog Games and wants to get in contact with me, my email is over on my YouTube page, or you can leave a comment, go to my Discord, do whatever you want. And if anyone at Fat Dog Games wants to talk to me too, you guys can totally do that. Alright, Investigator Patty out. Da-da-da-da-da. Inspector Patty. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da. That's a really stupid way to end this video. I just want you to tell